What is going on, everybody? Um, Today I wanted to make a quick video regarding some tips I could give for some lower MMR players who are trying to gain MMR, maybe stuck in the trench, or wanting to just get better at the game of Dota. This is not going to be an in-depth guide for certain heroes. This is going to be more of general knowledge that I think I feel comfortable giving. Again, I am only a Legend 4 player. I'm not some super high MMR player. So this is not going to be, of course, for people who are 4 to 6K. But if you are learning more, you want to try to get better at Dota, I think this video will be helpful for you. And help you really, gain the MMR you're trying to attain for. It may be a long time, or you just started getting into it. This video I think will be good for any players looking to better themselves for Dota. So what I'm going to be going through today is trying to get you to learn what you should be playing, what you're best at playing, what you're comfortable with. Of course, over time you can learn different positions if you want, but I just want to really quickly go through the positions of Dota and really just give a quick rundown for all the information I would be covering in this video. The 5 positions in Dota are going to be position 1, which is a safe lane carry. Those are going to be your anti-mages, terrorblades, gyrocopters. Heroes that more so want to farm and go mid to late game to win the game. There are a couple exceptions with Huskar or Ursa, who want to win laning phase really hard, get kills and get towers and buildings as fast as possible. Next is going to be the mid players. These are the guys, most of the time they want to snowball. They want to win mid really hard, and from there just kind of take over the game. Your Shadow Fiends, your maybe your OD, maybe your Alchemist. These heroes really want to snowball and just kind of take over. Next is going to be offlane. These are the ones that are kind of be taking the hard time in Dota right now. I think offlane is one of the hardest lanes to play right now, just because the nerf to bounty EXP kind of destroyed offlaners, as well as people are more prone to staying in lane now because, again, roamers before wanted to roam and go get kills and get those bounty runes to attain their levels. Now they can't really do that, so there's a lot more babysitting going on than normal. I hope that does change in the future, but for at least patch 7.12, this is kind of what you're going to be facing if you're an offlane player, or you might think you may be an offlane player. Offlaners are the ones that want to get some levels in less on farm but more on level side to get to level 6 is usually their big power spike. Or maybe get to level 4 or 5 like an Axe. Once you get level 2 or 3 on his passive, you can start winning the lane pretty hard and try to get things done. From there, after that is going to be your position 4. This is going to be the in lane / roamer. You might have a dual support duo. Most of the lower skill games, though, it's going to be either a jungler or a roamer. For the jungler right now, I think the jungle is a terrible place to farm. You could get away with Enigma jungle or Nature's Prophet jungle. That's really about it. They nerf jungle way too hard, I think. So I think roaming is a bit better. Again, roaming is a little bit harder now just because that bounty rune nerf, it took a big hit to roamers along with offlaners. Roamers is going to be your Pudges, Maranas, Sand Kings, the ones that can, once they get to level 2 or maybe even at level 1, they can just go around the map trying to get kills and help other lanes. If you feel like you're one of those players, you really don't care about farm, you just want to get kills and help your team, you're going to be position 4. Next is going to be position 5. These guys are usually the ones that are babysitting their carries to make sure nothing goes wrong for them, taking all of the gold they get to buy wards, sentries, dust, smoke, the courier, as long as giving their tangos and wards at the start of the game. For this, you're going to want to learn how to stack, pull creeps, when to leave your carry alone, and try to keep yourself up with the XP as much as you can. If you feel like you're a good support player, you already have a lot of that down, then this may be the position for you. Every game is winnable with any of these positions you may want to get into. Before we get into this any deeper, I'd say is take a moment, take a time to really think about this. Because to gain MMR in Dota, if you're just picking random heroes and just random positions, you're not going to really get good at the game. You're not going to be increasing your gameplay that much, you know? To get good at Dota, you need to take your time to learn something in full and then take that and move forward with it. So let's go ahead and go for right now position 1. If you think you're going to be a good position 1 player, you want to try to win your lane, get farm, and win the game at your power spike. If you think you're going to be a good anti-mage player, or maybe a good alchemist, or something along those lines, then yeah, go ahead and position for position 1. If you don't like supporting and or you don't think you're a good mid player, which I'm, like, for example, I'm a terrible mid player, horrible. My invoker win rate is 43% out of 116 games. My Shadow Fiend win rate, oops, jeez. Shadow Fiend win rate is 41%. That's pretty horrible. I'm just not a mid player, and that's okay. You don't have to be a mid player if you feel like you're a good position 1 player. And you play to your strengths. So position 1, if you feel like you want to carry the game, go mid to late game and try to win for your team. Position 1 is where you're going to want to try to stick with, for position 1, pick 3 heroes that you could feel comfortable with in any game. Of course, if you're a morph, you pick Morphling for some reason. You want to be a Morphling player and they have an enemy OD. Most likely, you're not going to want to pick Morphling because OD kind of dumpsters Morphling. You may want to have those 2 other heroes in backup that you could pick that you'd feel comfortable with playing as well. Because 1 hero spamming is a bit harder to do just because if you get countered, it's kind of hard to win games with certain heroes like an anti-mage. If there's a Bloodseeker in the enemy team, you're going to be running around the map trying not to get ulted the whole time, which is no fun for anybody. Next, position 2, mid. These guys, again, these are more for the snowball-oriented players, the one that feel really comfortable in their solo play. Of course, in lower MMRs is be less likable chance they're going to be ganked or have TPs. So these guys are really going to be for solo. You know, the Shadow Fiend players, the Invoker players, the ODs, snipers, tiny players, the Queen of Pains, pucks. These guys are really oriented or focused on winning their lane hard and then taking the game over from there. Which, if you've ever been a maybe position 5 player or a safe lane, you're an anti-mage and you haven't gotten your battle fury, all of a sudden the enemy Shadow Fiend is 7 kills, 1 death, 2 assists, and he ganks your lane and completely destroys you because he's level 10 and you're level 5. That's unfortunate. That sucks. And that's gonna lead into a bigger snowball, and eventually they can pretty much solo carry a game if they get big enough. So really take that in mind. If you feel like you're a really good solo player, you have really good mechanics for yourself, you have good game knowledge as to be a bit careful, try not to be ganked, as well as you know when you can get a kill with certain heroes you're going to pick, and try to, again, stay with 3 heroes. I wouldn't do anything more than 3, anything under, because this is going to be specifically for gaining MMR. Of course, as you go higher, you want to increase your hero pool a bit more. But I think 3 heroes is really good for lower MMR players to get into, learn, and then move from there. Next is going to be position 3. Off lane, get that level 6 for a lot of them, which is going to be like your Voids, your Tide Hunters, your Clockworks, maybe your Underlords, Earthshakers. These guys usually want to wait till they get their level 6 or a couple levels before they start trying to come into the game. Right now, it is pretty hard to beat offlaner again. It's hard to get levels, but as long as you're okay with surviving your lane and then trying to mess up the enemy's farm, you're not going to be really worried about your farm as much. You're really there to survive and try to disrupt the enemy safe laners, their farm. And if you feel like you have a good understanding of that, you know how to do that, offlane may be your position to play, and that could very easily gain you MMR. There's a lot of games as a carry player that I've been destroyed by an enemy offlaner, and I don't get to come online until 25 minutes, and by that time it's way too late, and I can't help my team because my laning phase was so bad, and the enemy offlaner starts to snowball a bit. So if you feel like you could be good at that, offlane is going to be a great position for you to pick. Take your time learning it. Take your time to know the full extent of the heroes you're going to be learning, because off lane is a bit more dangerous than other lanes. You're much more susceptible of dying in that lane. So really get to learn the in and outs of your hero, and how tanky or how much your hero could take, and when your hero can get kills in lane versus 1 or 2 people. Next is going to be position 4. Again, your Pudges or Miranas. These guys want to stay in lane maybe for a couple levels and then go help other lanes and get kills. A good Pudge player, a good Mirana can really destroy an enemy mid player's lane and take them out of the game, almost to what an offlaner could do, you know? If you've ever been a Storm Spirit and you get ganked multiple times, your game sucks. All of a sudden the enemy mid player is 2 levels ahead of you, and you don't have farm to even get more than Brown Boots bottle. So your game got super hard because the enemy roamer, position 4, knew what they were doing. Again, position 4 can be jungle as well. I don't agree with jungle right now. I don't think it's really good for the game, just because it takes a minute for creeps to spawn. You could get you could get away with Enigma or Nature's Prophet. Other than that, go guys. I think position 4 support or semi-support is the way to go. Again, pick 3 heroes you'd be good at. Pudge is pretty versatile in all games. Moran is pretty much the same thing. You could also pick maybe a Roaming Clockworks. Could be pretty strong, or Sand King. Next is going to be your position 5. These guys are going to be the supports of the games, the one that's going to be taking more time to ward and make sure you have a TP ready to help other lanes if you need to. Than anything, you're also going to be babysitting your carry to make sure they have a good game, is trying to push that enemy offlaner out of the way. These will be your dazzles, maybe your ancient apparitions, your oracles, disruptors, liches, shadow demons, really strong right now. So these are the heroes you're going to want to be paying a bit more attention to, and trying to get 3 of those heroes that you feel you could learn the ins and outs of and be really good with, and know how to pick them against certain heroes. Or you have to first pick, you need to feel comfortable enough to first pick any of these 3 heroes you choose. For this position, you're going to want to learn how to stack. You want to learn how to pull. And for this, and any of these positions really, I'd recommend looking at guides from much higher skill players who really have more game knowledge than I could offer on more in-depth position guides, like when to pull, what times to pull, how to pull the small camp into the large camp, when to stack, when to help your safe laner, how to not sap too much XP, because these are really big things that can really take a big effect on your game and gain you MMR if you know what you're doing. Especially lower MMR games, the enemy offlaners usually don't know when to contest pulls. They don't really see them happening, or they don't really ward them. Learning good warder spots as well that wouldn't be de-warded are really useful as well. And all around, you're going to be trying to control the early game tempo as a position 5 support. So again, for each position, pick 3 heroes you think you'd be really good at. For example, I'm a safe lane carry. I pick Morphling. Morphling's one of my best heroes. Or I'd pick Sven. Or I pick Faceless Void. Some other heroes I can't really think right now exactly what heroes. These would be my 3 though. These are 3 I'm most comfortable with. I feel like I could go into any game and pick any of these heroes, and I'd be able to get away with trying to carry the game. So as long as you have those 3 heroes, getting through lower MMR will be a breeze for you. And as well as being more comfortable with your picks, it will help you not really have the worry of not being able to carry, because if you know what you're doing with a hero, you know how to go late with game with them, then this game gets so much easier for you. And that's for every single position. If you feel comfortable with your picks, all of a sudden the game gets super easy because you know exactly what you need to be doing. So that's going to be my advice I could give to lower MMR players. I hope this has been helpful. There's a couple tips I want to give as well. One of them is don't tilt. Don't get mad if you die as a mid player. It's going to happen. You're not going to play perfect every time. You're going to have bad games. You're going to have good games. Don't tilt. Don't flame your teammates. Everyone's flamed before. I've flamed before. I've used to be a huge flamer. I still flame sometimes, but not nearly as much as I used to because it does affect your game, and there's no point of flaming. There really is not. You're gonna be mad at people, but if you flame, it's gonna mess with your team. People are gonna mute you. And Dota is a team where you need cooperation. You know, if you're a pudge, you wanna gank somebody, get on the mic or type, "Hey, I'm gonna come mid in 30 seconds. Be ready." Letting them know that is huge. That'll lead in so many kills. You need that. But if somebody mutes you because you're toxic, all of a sudden you lose that um, that 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 the cooperation with your team. Second piece of advice I'm gonna give is um, learn to also be the filler position. There are gonna be games where you're gonna want to pick off lane and someone's gonna steal that from you. Don't tilt. Just kind of suck it up for the game. It's just one game. You're gonna have thousands of them if you're gonna be playing Dota. If you're watching this video, you've already had a good amount of games. You really want to get good at Dota. You want to get into this game. Don't tilt off of one game. It's gonna happen all the time. People steal lanes, even higher MMR. I'm sure you've seen a Twitch stream where someone picks safe lane, all of a sudden someone insta picks it and steals their lane, and they're forced to do something else with their pick. So learn to be that filler position. If you're a safe laner, someone steals your safe lane, there's no support, be support. You might be reluctant to pick it, and that's okay. Not everybody wants to be a support player. But for that one game, you might just have to do it. And if you lose the game, then you lose the game. If you win, then that's great. But you're gonna have games like that. There for every win, there's gonna be a loss for somebody. But just keep trying to do well. Don't fight for farm with other people, because that's not only gonna ruin your game as well as the person you're fighting for farm, but that's gonna tilt your team and make them not want to finish the game or play the game. And morale in Dota is pretty big. We all have that game where things just aren't going well and you just give up. You're just like, all right, I'm cool with this ending. And I'm sure you could gain a lot more MMR if you just kind of said, you know what, no, let's play this out and see what we can do. Because there's been plenty of games where we've lost all of our tier 1s and tier 2s, and all of a sudden we win a team fight at our tier 3 and we're back in the game. So I hope this video has been a bit more helpful for some of the players who are really trying to get into Dota and learn what could be best for them. Again, this is not an in-depth guide. If you want to feel like you've found the heroes you want to play and the role you want to play, then from there, go ahead and look up more guides upon that, because I don't feel comfortable giving those guides out. But look up guides from really top skilled players who know their positions in and out and play pro, because these are the guys you're going to want to be following. But this is just the basic entry level for trying to find out what you're going to be best at, and take your time choosing this. You may think at first you might be a mid player, but if you feel like your win rate is abysmal with mid, like mine is, you might want to switch over to carry, or you might want to go to offlane or support. You can win in any game with any position, as long as you know what you're doing, you're comfortable with it. So I hope this video has been helpful for any person who does watch this. Leave your comments below if you disagree with any of this. I think after a while, when I gain MMR, and have a bit more game knowledge, I'm gonna remake this video. But for now, I want to get this video out to help some of the players who are trying to get into Dota. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it was a bit helpful to some of the people who may watch it. And want everyone to have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.